What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back with another Danmachi video. Now, today we're going to be talking about boss number 3, and I know we skipped boss number 2. I'm just going to be real. I don't really honestly have the team for that, but if you guys have a lot of the newer fire units and everything like that, you could probably build a really stellar team for that, using basically all the new fire units up to and including Vesta. It is something I do plan to work on, but right now, 1 and 3 are the ones that I can really produce respectable numbers in. Not the best, because, as you'll see here in a moment, just like with part 1, I am lacking the 20% assists for this team. So I am going to be lacking some of the damage that other people can most likely produce. But this team should look very similar to the one we used before. Of course, Mikoto is an absolute unit. Pay close attention to the damage she's going to produce, because it is going to be phenomenal. And I want to basically emphasize that there's more left on the table on this unit. And I'll kind of explain what I mean by that when we get into it. But let's go ahead and jump in and do a run here. Now, I have set a skill flow, and I'm very happy, very, very, very happy with my skill flow. It's been good. We're not going to produce numbers like we saw in number 1, but we're going to shoot for about a third of that, frankly. And that's about, like, you know, that really sweet spot. I've seen some really crazy numbers out there, but I'm not going to be personally capable of that without some major modifications to my team that I simply don't have. But we're going to kick this off with the 100% SA gauge charge with Reveria. Now, why Reveria isn't on the main portion of this team is very simply put, as good as she would be, I really need to save for a triple SA, and I unfortunately just don't have the availability, as you'll see here in a moment, to put her in here. So she's going to be here for the 100% SA gauge charge, which is going to be imperative for getting the triple. If we don't have that, we're not going to get a triple. Other than that, Belle is skill 1, Leafia is skill 1, and Mikoto is skill 1. This is just basically their general buff debuff stack. Nothing too crazy. Now, one thing I do want to emphasize, this opponent does do 2 ailments. He'll hit you with poison, and he'll hit you with stun. Poison sucks, but it's survivable. Stun will screw everything up. So you got to make sure you have stun anklets on literally everybody on your team. You must have stun anklets or some kind of anti-stun, some kind of anti-stun in general on your units. Because if you do not and you get stunned, you're going to hate life. So whether it be an assist or the anklets or even an assist that does anti-ailment, you've got to get rid of those stuns. The problem with putting anti-ailment on there, though, is I believe the poison is going to overcome that, so you really need to just do specifically anti-stun and then just try to survive the poison. Okay? Now, turn 2. I brought this Welf in solely for his single target damage booster. Now, we do have a unit in the game that will do 50%, but that, once again, will use an SA, and I need to save my SAs for that final triple on turn 7. If I don't do that, I'm basically not going to be able to do much with it. So we're just going to do Welf here to get that 25% single target, and that's going to be that. Now, once again, skill 2 with Belle. Now, I could skip straight to skill 3 with Leafia, because hers is magic resist and water resist down 30%. But between Belle and, well, frankly, just in general, just with Mikoto, we've got 40%. So we could actually skip and do skill 3 directly with Leafia, and then do skill 2 with the debuff for Mikoto. So be, like, very mindful of those things. Pay close attention, because it's really easy to get stuck into a loop of just doing 1, 2, 3, and then forgetting that you actually already have that skill and that is redundant. And that would have actually cost me some damage had I done that. So you need to pay attention to that. I mean, drastically need to pay attention to that. Now, both Belle and Mikoto have been poisoned. That's going to suck their life down, but we should still be fine. Because I have fully ascended stun anklets on everybody, we shouldn't get hit too badly. Emphasis on too badly. But we wouldn't, like I said, drudge through the poison and block the stun. the stun will absolutely kill our capability to produce the kind of damage we want to produce. Now, finally, in turn 3, Haruhime comes in. We're going to do her 33% SA gauge charge. Now, it is worth noting that Mikoto does 33% SA gauge charge in the beginning, but we need it on Haruhime as soon as she drops in order to get our triple on turn 7. I will drive that into the earth. We need the triple on turn 7. It's going to be super important. Okay, so I'm going to do her skill 2. Everybody else is literally just moved on and is pretty much spamming skill 3. Okay, now you will notice our health is starting to deteriorate a little bit, and that is simply because of that poison. It hurts, it sucks, but it is survivable, so pay close attention. Now, turn 4 gets to be interesting. All right, turn 4, I'm going to go ahead and do Blowing Wind. The main reason I'm going to do that is because we've got to keep our debuffs in play. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do skill 1 with Haruhime. That's going to give us critical rate, penetration rate, and counter rate 30%. And that, I think, is going to help us do a little tiny bit more damage. Because it is worth noting that Mikoto's skill 3 also does status debuff plus 2 turns. Now, everyone's status buffs should be good. Well, actually, I take that back. Mikoto's are going to fall off, so I take that back. We are going to do Blown Wind. That's why I always double check these things. So a lot of these buffs are getting ready to wear out. So rather than letting that happen, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to basically more or less continue on here. Now, we are doing skill 1 with Bell, and that's because at the end of this turn, it is worth noting that he's going to wipe out our buff, so we have to rebuff. But Bell's skill 1 will do the extra actions, and it's all a debuff. So we don't have to necessarily worry about rebuffing again. I mean, I do, but that's a skill 2 thing. So I can use skill 1 to get a little bit of extra damage with the extra attack. And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about with that, but for now, let's just go ahead and actually, and that's another reason I shouldn't do skill 1 with Haruhime, and I just now thought about that, because Haruhime, if she did skill 1, obviously get wiped out. So we're going to do skill 1 on turn 5. Sorry, I remember I set that up with the skill flow, but I completely forgot the reason I did that. And that's why it's good to sometimes, like, ponder this and talk it over, and there are certain things sometimes I'll remember when I'm doing a rendition of this, or I'll even figure out in doing it, as you guys sometimes have noticed. So there we go. Now we do skill 1 with Haruhime, and we need to rebuff. So we're going to do skill 2 with Bell. We're going to do skill 1 with both Mikoto and Leafia. Let's go. All right. And remember, since he wiped out our buffs, everything is pretty much fresh and clean here. Now, the downside is I'm taking a bit of damage, but unfortunately, because of... I probably could put lower end stun anklets on everybody and take a little bit more damage and get some counter damage. That probably is a thing. I haven't tried it yet, but it is definitely something that I'm probably going to consider going forward. Now, I'm going to do skill 3 with Haruhime, and then everyone else can go back up and do their skill 3 because everybody's got their buffs now. So everybody is good to go. And finally, turn 7 is the big one. Turn 7 is the triple SA, like I said before. Now, you're probably expecting me to do Haruhime's SA. And I want to emphasize this, and somebody actually brought this up to me, and I 100% forgot about this. I made a big point to use Aphrodite on enemy number 1, and I completely forgot that Haruhime's SA removes status debuffs anyway. But notice we don't have any status debuffs here, so I don't actually have to worry about that. We're not debuffed. So I'm going to go ahead and actually let Haruhime do skill 3, and I'm going to do an SA with Bell for the 100% water attack damage, Leafia for water resistance down 50%. While that is only a 10 extra percent, it is going to be something pretty spectacular to view. And obviously with Mikoto for that really amazing hit. Now, let's go ahead and do this and see what kind of numbers we produce. I'm going to do this a little bit faster than I did last time. So not quite a mil with Bell. Bell could be better. Leafia, you know, is going to produce something good. 3.4 mil is nothing to scoff at. But remember, Mikoto's got giant killers, so 7.7 million. Now, if you want to know honestly, the difference in damage with Mikoto basically is about 1 million. If I actually did the essay with Haruhime versus Leafia, I get about 1 million more damage out of Mikoto than I got here. But overall damage is actually reduced, and that's actually a really low number. That is a very low, stinky number that I do not like one bit. I was really hoping for more like a 25 mil, but you know what? It is what it is, and I think RNG just kind of did us dirty on that one. So I found that I get about 1 million more damage overall, while we do hit a little bit lighter on Mikoto's side. I tend to get a little bit more damage by doing Leafia's essay instead of Haruhime's. If you think about it, the buff is good and all, but the buff is only going to do so much with Mikoto and that big hit. So for me personally, I find that doing the triple essay with my attackers produces a better number in the end, but by a small margin. Like literally it's within about 1 million. So let me know your thoughts and comments down below. That is enemy number 3. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Like, comment, share. I'll get you guys on the next one.